It wasn't until I actually got to do a body art class that I really understood what lay behind the body and soul harmonization of philosophy. It was very difficult, but the fact that I could do it and actually feel the balancing of those residual energies, the whole breath, posture, mindfulness pattern made me feel freed from the weight of the world, light and happy and accomplished. So I went back again and again, looking for that first-time happiness that was the alignment of me, myself and I. This was due to more than the body postures alone. It was also the outcome of the fact that fortunately, every other class, the instructor did relaxation and meditation techniques at the end, which made the class even more interesting and more profoundly effective and meaningful. I remember I actually cried at the end of one of these exercises. I felt so relieved, so in touch with myself. Why would anyone want to be unhappy and cry, you might ask? It is true, many would argue there is enough drama in our lives to want to add more to what has already been brought our day. There is more to it than this, though. In our culture, we have been taught to react, to fight against something in order to surpass it, instead of trying to understand what lies behind our failures, or unhappiness, or dissatisfaction, with the world, with ourselves, always in competition, always trying to get the best girl, the best job, the fastest car, the biggest house, the best seats. Otherwise, we could actually get to see that the source of all dissatisfaction and discontent that we experience is within ourselves, that by better understanding what makes us tick and what we actually need and are about, we could attain the kind of energy and wisdom we need in order to no longer let the dreams that are not ours become entangled in our subconscious and make room to the kind of misalignment that makes us lose grip of ourselves. What the Eastern philosophies are offering, though, is warm, soothing energy, the kind that we must have felt in our mother's wombs. They do not preach reaction or even action for that matter, rather an open eye and self that can detect the beneficial energies and direct them towards a better understanding of what life is or should be about. Meditation has been known to bring numerous benefits to those who practice it religiously. Among them, less stress and disease, more energy and serenity, more patience, improved concentration, a liberated mind, and thus a lower anxiety level and even a higher level of compassion, relaxation, improved relations with others, and so on. Among the different types of meditation are the following. Focused meditation. Focusing the attention on a single object during the whole meditation session. Mindfulness meditation. An adaptation from traditional Buddhist meditation practices, also having strong influence from other lineages. Mantra meditation. Comprises two individual components of chanting mantras and meditating and has a different purpose for every person. And movement meditation. Ideal when we feel energetic and cannot practice sitting meditation. We shall dwell on the benefits and techniques of focused meditation. Thus, follow us on this brief journey into the world of meditation. Let us take a peek through the looking glass. Before going any further, I think it would be useful to be very clear about what meditation is, what it does, how and where and when it can be done, and the kind of obstacles one may encounter upon meditating, and how these can be tackled. What is meditation? If we ask Wikipedia, meditation is a practice where an individual trains the mind or induces a mode of consciousness either to realize some benefit or for the mind to simply acknowledge its content without becoming identified with that content, or as an end in itself. The term meditation refers to a broad variety of practices that includes techniques designed to promote relaxation, build internal energy or life force, ki, prana, etc., and develop compassion, love, patience, generosity and forgiveness. A particularly ambitious form of meditation aims at effortlessly sustained single-pointed concentration meant to enable its practitioner to enjoy an indestructible sense of well-being while engaging in any life activity. According to Dr. Samprasad Vinoid, meditation is a thought-free state of mind. There are different definitions of meditation given by different people from across the subject, but the classic textbooks on yoga say that meditation means the perpetual dwelling of the mind on some object that subsequently fades into nothingness. Meditation essentially means temporary freedom from thoughts. Unlike sleep, it is a wakeful thought-free state in which all our senses are alert and awake. In fact, during meditation, we are many times more alert and awake than during our day-to-day life. It is a state of mind in which our thinking process stops for a short period of time. During meditation, one experiences a complete stillness of the mind, great serenity, dynamic stability, and profound quietude. However, heed should be paid that peace of mind is not something to be attained easily and readily. While meditating, indeed, it is a prerequisite for the mind to be freed from thoughts in order for the one who meditates to have better chances of attaining the wanted and much desired peace of mind. On the other hand, thoughts that occur cannot be gotten rid of as easily as one may imagine. Hurry and force are never keys to successful meditation. What one needs to do is wait patiently for any and all arising thoughts to settle down on their own, in their own time, and this will make room for the kind of energy that brings one to that exact state where one's inner journey of peace and joy begins. A very fine and illustrative example to this end is given by Dr. Vinoid in the aforementioned book. To push aside thoughts arising in the mind is by itself the wrong way to meditate. It is as absurd as trying to purify muddy water by hand-picking the clay particles suspended in it. We may spend many, many hours, days and months doing this exercise, but nothing will happen. The muddy water will remain as muddy as ever. It will never become clear. In fact, it will become muddier than before. What is true with muddy water is equally true with our mind. It cannot be made silent with the help of our purposeful efforts to silence it. If we apply force, it will become more agitated and restless. Instead, if we allow our mind to get settled naturally, if we do not control our thoughts, if we do not interfere with its operations, it will become quiet more readily. Thus, as long as we do not pursue our thoughts or try to force them away, instead we allow them to gradually reduce in intensity and number, the process of thinking, which is indeed a natural inherent characteristic of our minds, eventually comes to a standstill, which is a fundamental process in meditating. Allowing the one who meditates to experience the light and joyful void they aim at attaining by meditating. How does one escape restlessness? How does the mind become restless? Like a moth drawn into the flame, we feel compelled to deal with a continuous flow of thoughts that occupy our minds, that make them want to work and put in a lot of effort in order to get rid of the clutter that becomes the mind. This is in fact the challenge. Allow thoughts to exist and become quiet and extinct, thus no longer bothering of their own volition and in their own time. What we aim at is reaching the no-mind state, where all thoughts are erased, no longer interfering with this process, where our mind reaches this particular thought-free state. The most common mistake, though, is that people tend to think that in order to reach this state, they need to put in a lot of effort. They could not be more mistaken. Force should not be used, nor should thoughts be avoided. Ease is the key word, as difficult or impossible as this may seem. Many would argue ease is not something which can be attained easily, nor do we think so. It is something which can be reached with patience and confidence in oneself, as well as by creating the kind of environment which encourages the outcome. One thing you can do to this end is find a recluse place where no distractions can occur, such as noises of the street, the TV or the radio playing. Listening to music will help greatly and will create the kind of atmosphere one needs in order to become separate and be as far as possible from the environment one is trying to escape. Remember, though, that not any kind of music will do. Soothing music should be the choice. In fact, some point New Age music as the most appropriate. Think of nothing but your breath. It is easy to fall in the trap of following one's thoughts as they appear. One way to avoid this from happening is to follow one's breath. Focusing on one's breath, on very deeply inhaling and exhaling with one's eyes closed, will do the trick. Choose a good target. Another secret is that insofar as you think you can do it without getting into trouble, if you think that you can focus on something else than your breathing too, then you should do so. The focus can be on the sound of music, on someone you love, without, however, allowing such focus become thoughts about the future, about possibilities, without allowing the mind to get cluttered again. It should all be kept as clear as possible. Meditation should be practiced with ease. As pointed out by all authors giving advice on how meditation can be best done and achieved, effortlessness is the signature of all successful meditation sessions. If one strives to achieve the necessary state of mind to go further, then they will never achieve true peace of mind. In his book, Dr. Vinoid makes a parallel with learning to ride a bicycle. While at the beginning effort and attention need to be directed at all aspects pertaining to riding a bike, with time, the more you practice, the more it becomes a second nature, and you will no longer notice things which may have stopped you from being a good rider at the beginning. Another secret is not to pay excessive importance to extraneous factors. It is true that, to a certain extent, external help is necessary, particularly when one is a novice in meditation. But we need not be too fussy about these things. We must never let secondary factors become more important than the actual meditation. Otherwise, we may just get stuck in rituals and waste our time in doing things of lesser importance. By doing this, and by succeeding in pushing the secondary aside and allowing what really matters to come first and be achieved, the practice of meditation will eventually become our very nature, an effortless, perpetual state. Like all things in life, the first step is essential, because it determines the direction and the entire course of the journey that follows. If the first step is taken in the right direction, the rest of the steps will usually automatically follow suit. Therefore, what is very important is not the kind of meditation one chooses to practice, but that it is easy to learn and practice and make sure from time to time that one is going in the right direction the way we do in any journey. For that, we have to look at the milestones, get proper directions from an experienced person who has been to our destination before, and, once in a while, also refer to a map for confirmation. In the same manner, we have to take proper directions or guidance about meditation from an experienced yogi before we start our journey of meditation. After starting meditation, we have to seek counsel from time to time to confirm that we are moving in the right direction. We have to also look for the milestones or the signs of progress we have made on the path, such as developing a feeling of well-being, improving peace of mind, decreasing irritability, improving relations with others, and so on. It is also necessary to compare notes with fellow travelers and refer to the map of spiritual evolution described in the scriptures on yoga to ensure that everything is moving smoothly. Meditation goes very deep and changes the very cell that is the basis of our being and psychic, which is why, try as they might, those who are attempting to simply imitate the serenity, peacefulness, joy and caring and loving disposition that compose the apparent face of a yoga master will only manage to keep such traits on their faces for so long. What lies behind the appearance, though, is an entire process of spiritual evolution, a level of consciousness that took years and maybe decades of meditation and then understanding. The beautiful thing about meditation is that while it may demand some effort in the beginning, by practicing it religiously it becomes effortless, like breathing. a second nature. The way we start doing meditation is the identity we give it in the later stages of our practice. In the same manner, if effortlessness is the final objective of our meditation, it should be present right from the very first step we take on the path. If there is unnaturalness in our meditation when we start doing it for the first time, the same unnaturalness may continue in our practice for a long time. Later, it is very difficult to bring natural effortlessness back to our meditation practice. What is also important to remember is that what matters is the motivation one has for meditation. Whether or not what lies behind one's desire to learn meditation for the sake of meditation alone, instead of for the purpose of healing a disease. Like a farmer, we have to be careful when making the choice of meditation we propose to learn and practice, before we can expect to reap the harvest of inner joy and lasting peace of mind. To have a genuine urge to learn meditation is in itself a rarity, particularly when it is learned for the joy of learning and not merely for the cure of some physical, psychological or psychosomatic health problem. Once the journey of meditation is properly begun, the rest of the voyage becomes joyful automatically. Moreover, if the ultimate goal of our meditation is to become one with the universal cosmic consciousness, we have to find some early signs of such a momentous objective in the very first step we take in that direction. If we develop effortless ease through meditation, it paves the way to glimpsing our real self, which is pure individual consciousness, the reflection of universal cosmic consciousness. One mistake many often make when it comes to meditation is separating the worldly from the spiritual, imagining that meditation is something to be taken seriously which has nothing to do with the world. On the contrary, the true secret is to manage to integrate meditation in one's life, help it become one with the self, become an intrinsic part of it. Furthermore, meditation should be taken neither too lightly nor too seriously. The two approaches should be held in balance. Otherwise, we take the risk of turning it into either a duty, in which case one cannot attain the kind of peace of mind and joy the regular practice of meditation will endow, or a mere trifle. Another piece of advice the more learned in the art of meditation will give you is to treat meditation as playfully as possible, like one would approach any sports they do for fun and mere enjoyment. This will help one treat any potential failures like any other mishap without getting upset and then get on with the practice. Also, the playful attitude will help greatly when we get stuck and our mind is overcrowded by thoughts. We will thus be able to look at such thoughts in a more cheerful manner, treat them as an inherent part of the game of meditation and not allow ourselves to get upset by them. Like any important thing, in meditation too, we will encounter hard times. Times when nothing seems to work, when the journey thus far seems to have brought or built nothing, and we may feel like we are back to square one. The one thing that will get one out of such desolate state can be playfulness rather than seriousness. You are what you eat, they say. Similarly, in meditation and all related activities, it is important to remember that we are what we think. Whatever thoughts inhabit our minds will shape what we are. The kind of thoughts that fill our minds and beings will impact not only the state we are in, but also the kind of results that meditation yields. If you think negatively, all that you will achieve is negativity. In fact, when one feels such negative emotions and anger, jealousy and hate, it is all the more difficult, even impossible, for positivity to flow through you. Furthermore, not only is it important to avoid such negative emotions as those mentioned before, but also the time one chooses to perform meditation is of utmost importance. If you feel negative about yourself, then you are not giving yourself all of the energy that you should be giving yourself so that you can enjoy the experience of meditation. Thus, the time that you choose to perform meditation should be a peaceful time rather than that one that is filled with outside energy that will stop the flow of energy that should be a result of meditation. The time of day one chooses to meditate will greatly influence the outcome of meditation. Whether it is in the morning, when one is not necessarily a morning person, before breakfast or after that, which is more suitable when one chooses to meditate in the morning. Mornings are a great time to meditate, and many people choose to meditate at sunrise because this is an inspirational time of day. What needs to be taken into account also is that it is not a good idea to overload on caffeine, which can make one regurgitate, feel more nervous and tense, and thus ruin the whole meditation experience. Instead of coffee, one can use decaf, or better yet, any drink that helps eliminate toxins, such as nettle tea and green tea, which help to open up the energy points in your body and get rid of toxins that may be blocking the flow of energy from one chakra to another. As for meditating immediately after exercising, it is best not to do one immediately after the other unless the exercise you do is in line with yoga or some other kind of practice of this type. Otherwise, you risk going into meditation with excess energy, which could stop you from being able to slow down sufficiently to gain greatly from your meditation session. Most importantly, besides what has been said this far, what one needs to be very careful about when it comes to meditation is not to do it forcefully. If you feel forced to meditate, it's unlikely that you will gain anything from the experience. You should never try and force yourself to do something which is not natural to you or which doesn't feel right in the mood that you are in. If you need to step away, then it's okay to do that. You also need to understand that it's not like sports. There are no right and wrong results. If you make targets for yourself that are unreasonable, then you will fail because meditation isn't about any other target than inner peace and understanding. When you make it larger than that, you set yourself up for failure. Meditation is an outstanding opportunity for a person to get to know themselves better. It is a gift in itself to grant yourself the time to allow your mind to explore something other than material goals. When you finish your meditation for the day, relax and learn from it, but look forward to the next moment and the next for the rest of your life. It holds a vast fortune of happiness and fulfillment if you don't make that the object of your search. Simply letting it happen on its own as a result of your learning to meditate will indeed give you rewarding results. Whether one takes to meditation for healing purposes or out of sheer pure wish to learn how to meditate that emerges from one's being, there is nothing like the gift of it, irrespective of the type of meditation one chooses to practice. Unlike any other practice known to mankind, meditation will release you from all negative energies you are not even aware reside within yourself. It will help you be healthier, less stressed, less anxious, more compassionate, more aware of yourself and your true needs, closer to your true self. It provides a better understanding of who you are and what your true role in life is, thus leaving you as light as you've ever been, as you will be freed from the weight that burdens modern soul by annulling the divide from your true self, by removing the haze behind which your true self has been kept hidden all these years, while the self emerges as pure as the lotus out of the mud.